everyone, this is Melissa from Melissa Made Too, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a card that I created using this adorable little donut stamp set and my new Zig Clean Color watercolor brushes. And whenever I use these, I like to either use a watercolor paper, and in this case I'm using Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm simply inking up those little donuts with my VersaFine Clair ink in the color Nocturne and stamping them onto that Bristol Smooth paper. Bristol Smooth paper is nice because it can take water, and I do a little bit of watercoloring with these as well as using my Zig pens. So I've learned a little bit about these over time, and what I've found is that they're great to just color with, but the way I really think they look nice is to use a little bit of water and spread out the color that I put down. So what you saw me do was add two colors, a lighter brown color, and then I believe it's oatmeal, and then I put on this chocolate brown, and I simply take my watercolor brush, add a little bit of water to it, and then brush that onto the little donut. I'm also finding that as I use these, the other thing that you can use is a watercolor brush, the kind that you actually fill up with water. I have a fine tipped one, and I almost like that a little bit better than having to re-wet my paintbrush all the time. But I will tell you that you get a little bit more control this way than you do when you use the watercolor brush. So it just depends on, how comfortable you are with watercoloring. Now, another thing I would like to tell you is that this makes life easier. If you're not a watercolorer, which I am not, I have done a little bit in my life, but not a ton. I think that these are very convenient and very easy to use if you're not a watercolorer. So I just started using these Zig water clean brushes since Christmas. I got these as a Christmas present, and I do find them to be a wonderful addition to my collection, and I enjoy using them quite a bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some music to this so you can watch me finish the watercoloring with a number of the different Zig Clean brushes, and then I will come back to you to finish out this card. So I'm back, and you can see that these donuts are mostly colored. I'm just going to go ahead and finish off the last little chocolate donut with a pink strip of frosting there. And so as I finish this out, the next thing that I'm going to want to do here is fussy cut these little donuts. I don't believe that there's a die that comes with this set. And you can see here I'm just taking two different colors of pink and putting those on instead of using the watercolor. And you can do that with these Zig Clean watercolor brushes. So now I'm just taking a pair of fine tipped scissors and simply fussy cutting out each of these little donuts, leaving a little bit of trim around the edge. And here you have the three donuts. So I've also die cut a large circle with my Lawn Fawn stitched die circles, and I've used the second to the largest size that you see here to cut out a white circle, and this white circle is just in any white cardstock that you might have. I'm also using this Gina K bright pink paper here, and the happy birthday sentiment from Simon Says, and I've cut that out in some white cardstock and in some gray cardstock. And I will be adding those to the card as we go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to emboss those hearts that you saw from My Favorite Things onto this pink cardstock. Now, it is a large rubber stamp, and so what I want to do is adhere the pink piece of cardstock down to my platform and then also that white circle because I want to emboss on both of those. So I adhere them together with just a tiny bit of adhesive. I'm going to ink that heart background up in my Versamark ink, and I'm really going to push that down. Now, had I been smart, I would have added some anti-static to this, but I did not. So it doesn't matter though. I feel I get pretty good coverage without. So now I'm taking some white embossing powder and I'm sprinkling that all over this heart background. I've also removed the stitched circle, if you can see, and I'm going to go ahead and emboss that. Now if I get a little bit of embossing powder onto the adhesive that's left behind, I don't mind because I am going to be covering that up. Now this is a thick piece of cardstock, so I'm also heating the back a little bit. Now that that's finished, I'm going to go ahead and use my ATG tape runner and just add some tape to the back of this pink cardstock and adhere that down to my A2 sized card base. I like to use a lot of tape so that I can get it down completely to my card base. And actually this piece of pink cardstock was cut to an A2 size, so that's the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So once that's adhered, I will also take the white circle and do the heart embossing on that as well, and I don't really show that. Now just a quick trick that I like to use, I get these foam dots from my local craft store, and I like to use the backing for things like this, large pieces that I like to use that I want to be very stable because I think it works really well. And so you can see me add that to the back of that white circle and then go ahead and pop that circle up off of my card. So now I'm taking my favorite glue, my On Point glue. I think that the tip on this glue is fantastic. It doesn't clog as it has a needle that goes down into it. So if you are looking for an adhesive that dries clear, that works really well with your fine detailed paperwork, then you should try On Point glue. So I've adhered that. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of a weight on it while I add glue to the white piece, and I'm just going to layer these two together so that it looks like the gray is a shadow. I really like this small sentiment, but I will tell you that the eye has a dot on it that's super tiny, and I actually do adhere that as well. But you know, if you don't like working with fine detailed type die cuts, then I'm not sure this is the die cut for you, just because it is a little fussy, especially if you're going to layer it like I am. Although the final look looks really great, so I would recommend the die. It's just that if you don't like doing fussy stuff, this might not be the die for you. So now I'm adding the little dot that came out of the eye, and like I said, it's very small. So what I like to do, I don't have the tool that allows you to pick up small things, so I'm just using my pointer and adding a little bit of glue to the tip and then adhering down the gray eye, and then also I'm going to add the white portion of the eye in the same manner. Make sure you finish off your cards because, you know, leaving that off would be fine, but I think it looks a little bit better to add them both. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere the donuts. I will say be careful if you're going to use one long donut and two round donuts in the way you lay out these little guys, because you could get a funny looking donut shape on your card. And so the way that I'm going to do it is kind of put the long donut down and the two round ones to the side. And I'm going to actually pop up the second donut here just to give a little bit of dimension. The smiley face, unfortunately, of the purple donut is going to be covered up, but that's okay. You can still see the little cute little faces on the other two. So once I get the foam dots onto there and adhered to my card, this pretty much finishes my card for the day. I hope you enjoyed today's card. Oh, the last thing I want to do is add a sentiment inside, and I really wanted to show you this sentiment because I think it's super cute. It comes with the set, and you're a year older, but you donut look it. I think that's super cute. So I just wanted to show you that. And again, I'm using VersaFine Clair because it stamps like a dream, and I'm putting that inside my card. Thanks for joining me on Melissa Made today. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and you'll join me again for more videos soon to come.